Welcome to the fourth installment of Revelation Greatest Hits. This is Mark of the Beast. As a reminder, I use the King James Version of the Bible. I am making no attempt at prophecy myself in regard to the book of Revelation, just translating John's visions for the modern age. The events described in Revelation are in sequence, except for the destruction of Babylon, which was explained in the first of these installments. That city will be destroyed by nuclear attack before celestial events cause major earth changes. Start in chapter 13. In verse 1, a beast rises up from the sea and is described as having 7 heads and 10 horns, just like Satan the dragon in chapter 12. But while Satan had 7 crowns, the beast has 10 crowns. Have 3 more kings joined Satan's ranks. The beast is of the actual bloodline of Satan, just as the Nephilim were from the fallen angels and human women during the times of Noah. Satan, who is a fallen angel, and the others have kept on with their interbreeding with humans to corrupt our bloodline. God doesn't like that. He created the angels to be angels. He made mankind and all earthly creatures to reproduce after their own kind. But Satan likes to foil God's plans. Satan has plans of his own, which is to dominate the earth completely, along with every person on it. That is, since he couldn't yet destroy it using Planet X. The beast is called a beast in Scripture because he is not a man, as God created man to be. He is a part of the satanic bloodline. He will appear human, as they all do. The names of blasphemy on the heads of the beast identify a group of some kind, since all the heads have it, and the blasphemy is against God. The beast could appear to be rising from the sea because he comes from across the sea, and his approach as he breaks the horizon would make him seem to rise from the sea. In verse 2, the beast is a powerful looking and acting individual. Text of this verse says that the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. Recall the dragon describes Satan in the celestial body of Planet X. And since the dragon is no longer around and that Planet X part of him is gone, we must figure that the beast derives his power from when Satan was still the dragon. The beast comes to power on the heels of the damage done by Planet X, with Satan at the helm. We can see that the beast very quickly assumes or seizes power in the chaotic aftermath of an earth which has been scarred, flooded, cracked, and burned by planet-level catastrophes and high-tech wars. To have attained absolute world control in such a short time, he and the organization around him must have known in advance what was to come. Timing will be everything. The best time to make war against other nations would be immediately after X, taking advantage of the global chaos and the fact that other armies would be in disarray. I have no doubt that there are military sites, troops, and supplies in place today in many places across the globe, waiting for the word from the future beast boss. Also, as the crooked elite have underground cities today for saving their own skins, they surely have plans in place for the continuation of their regimes after the earth changes. So we see that Satan was responsible for the beast's rise to power, his seat of power in an organization, and his dominion over that group, which is authority. The text asks, who could make war with the beast? We see how that would be tough. In verse 3, the beast, or one of his heads, is gravely wounded but survives, or only seems to survive. Though we assume the wound is from a recent battle, it could be an older war wound. It could be from a blunt force trauma. Or it could be a stroke, which would be a wound to the head, which he survives. If the beast defines an organization or group, that group will survive a major wound. People will worship, in verse 4, people will worship Satan for giving power to the beast. Also, they worship the beast and say, who can make war with him? That also implies there are those who do want to make war with him. Here again, being in advanced knowledge of celestial events, and prepped and packing to take over the world after those events really helps. Being kissing cousins with Satan doesn't hurt either. Verse 5, the beast is an excellent orator with ideas that people want to hear during a perilous time, but his ideas are at their core blasphemous to God. The beast is given the power to continue for 42 months. The text is also translated to mean that he can make war for 42 months. Verse 6, everything the beast says and does is against God. Verse 7, he makes war with God's people and overcomes them. He gets power over all nations and peoples. Verse 8, all those who are not truly God's people will worship the beast. Verse 9, listen to the following wisdom. Verse 10, the beast enslaves people and kills them. Verse 11, this verse introduces the second beast. He is described as coming up out of the earth. His appearance and oration style will be reserved and compelling, but he too will speak only satanic ideas. Notice that when the second beast comes on the scene, the first beast seems to have retired. All we hear about him then is that he, the first beast, had a wound that was healed, and that there is an image made to him. That is what usually happens when someone is martyred or assassinated. Someone makes a statue to them, usually after their death. So here's a solid reason to think the first beast is dead before the second one comes forth, whether that death is revealed to the world or not. Verse 12, the second beast has all the power of the first one. The reins of power fall to the second one who inherits the seat of authority. He causes the world to worship the first beast. Verse 13, he uses trickery and modern technology to make fire seem to come down from heaven in the sight of men. Verse 14, trickery comes up again. Men are deceived by the means of the presentation of his phony miracles. He performs these phony miracles in the sight of the beast, which indicates that the first beast is also trickery by this point in time. If the first beast is dead, he will seem to be resurrected in a hologram or other video trick to be presented as still alive. Here again, maybe the first one's death or severe injury is hidden from the world via deceit. That would be true especially if he was a victim of a political assassination or an attempt at one. Verse 15, evidently the first beast had a lot more charisma than the second, and a lot of popular support. After all, the first one was the one who appeared to step up after all the earth changes and the devastation of X, to seem to want to save the world right away. That's what people thought and hoped. So the second beast maintains the satanic agenda of his predecessor by pretending to revere him. He makes the image of the first beast appear alive and able to speak, which could be done with the video resources we have today. The second also causes anyone killed who does not worship the image of the first one. It seems obvious that any harm which came to the first beast came at the hand of the second, due to the second's constant fake crying over the demise of the first. When the second comes to power, nothing has been done to mete out provisions during the 3.5-year reign of the first beast. Earth changes have devastated much farmland. Stored food and other commodities will be seriously depleted. It is the second beast who will attempt to control what is left of the world's resources by rationing. In verses 16 through 18, these verses are often not read correctly. While verse 16 says that all receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, the sentence is not finished until the next verse. There's a comma there. Watch those commas, which list restrictions on who can have the mark. The popular legend is that the mark will be an implanted microchip. And while this technology exists today, it will not be the mark of the beast until all the necessary events have transpired and the second beast has come to power. Our state driver's license with the digital photo for facial recognition has been bewailed as too close to the mark of the beast. That technology may well be used when the time arrives, which it hasn't yet. Restrictions for those who get the mark are in verse 17. No one, rich or poor, small or great, will be able to buy or sell outside of the mark system. Such a system will be for the preservation of the global elite and enough of a societal structure to maintain them. This would include doctors, soldiers, farmers, teachers for the kids, prostitutes, etc. Also, these restrictions indicate that there will be those who are excluded from the mark system and will not be able to buy or sell. Millions globally will be left leaderless and abandoned by both beasts who follow their dual agendas of domination and destruction. The buying and selling of even staples such as food will be a privilege of the elite only. All those able to buy and sell have one of three things. They'll either have the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. The mark, this will be the largest group and include only those necessary for support of the elite. Here are the soldiers, farmers all over the world, doctors, and worker slaves. Conversely, by not issuing the mark to millions or even billions, the beast system ensures the demise of most of their enemies and the further depopulation of the world to a more manageable number. The name of the beast. This would include immediate family, extended family, and perhaps a higher tier of a system or group. These people do not need the mark as they can be trusted by the system. The mark will be a device of not only identification but control. The number of his name. It won't be a driver's license or social security number or house address or any such triviality. The clue is found in verse 18, which states that the number of the beast is the number of a man. The phrase a man means a group, race, or tribe of men sharing an ancestral physical heritage, such as when we say the Aborigine man or the Nordic man. We are referring to an entire race or tribe. Verse 18 refers to the number of the beast. Take away the word of and substitute the word from. So we count the number from the beast, actually derived it from him, meaning actually sired by him. There will be 666 of those. I contend that the groups spoken of are actual descendants of Satan and the fallen angels. Before you totally dismiss the idea, recall that during the time of Noah, the fallen angels took wives among mankind and children were born. The angels were made by God to be immortal. Satan and his followers retained their angelic powers. 666 of his progeny will be in power in a probably new global organization similar to the United Nations. Only called something else, I would imagine. So I will translate these three verses. No matter what station in life, be it small or rich, small or great, rich or poor, free or bond, a person will not be allowed to acquire needed supplies without the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. However, the beast family can buy or sell without the mark, and the 666 fathered by him can also buy and sell without the mark. For the number fathered by the beast is the number in a group of men, and that group of men will be 666. The beast and the second beast will be bloodline descendants of Satan. They and the core group with which they control the world will all be of that soulless lineage when all this comes to pass. The number in that group will be 666. That's all this evening for Revelation, Greatest Hits. Look for my ebook of the same name. Good night.